And what is up, guys? Technicals here. Welcome back to another episode of Matt trying to torpedo his channel by offering contrarian opinions, but people seem to identify with it, so he keeps doing well and being reinforced. So I'm going to continue that trend today and offer my thoughts on why don't do the budget mining thing. Now, every creator out there, myself included, does like budget this, budget that, how to build a rig for less than $5, how to do this on a budget, mining on a shoestring, things like that. I think at this point, you just don't do it. Because if you're an aspiring miner, smaller miner, and again, I'm no one to speak on this. I had like a medium-ish sized farm, and it wasn't even really all that medium. And like basically small, and now it's like a microscopic. And you know, who am I to say these things? But I love talking about shit I have no place talking about. Technicals, you're a gatekeeper. That's gatekeeping. You're trying to keep people out. I'm not trying to keep people out. I'm just trying to let you know what the hell you're getting into. I think if you go on the budget route, you're gonna have a profoundly negative experience. And that's not to say that it cannot be done, because there's plenty of stories out there of people on low-end hardware mining a solo block of Bitcoin. You know, it can happen, but at that point, you're just really rolling dice. And I understand, it's all gambling, it's all dice roll. A lot of people won't agree with that, but to me, it's absolute dice roll. There's so much luck involved, and the numbers are infinitesimally small on you cracking it rich and mining a solo block of something, or picking that moonshot coin that's gonna go 10,000x. The numbers are so small, it's not gonna happen. Look, I get the allure. Like, I will probably in a week put out a video on how to how to build a mining rig for under $5. You know, because I want the views. I'm a YouTuber. Understand my motivations here. If I'm being perfectly honest, if there was someone who was interested in mining because they have the builder gene like I have, and they don't want to go buy the coins, maybe they don't have time for it, or they just think that there's more potential based on their lifestyle of buying equipment that generates coins ongoing, I think you got to jump in kind of on the deeper-ish end at this point in order to get anywhere with mining. And that's if you're going into it with the hope of actually getting somewhere, because on the hobbyist end of things, I think that, yeah, you build a budget mining rig. If you're into the hobby aspect of it, if you're into researching the coins, if you're interested in the technology, then yeah, go for it. On the hobbyist end, that's absolutely a thing you can do. It's time for Technicals Tangent. This is my view of the three main types of miners in the space. 1, you got hobbyist. 2, you got intermediate. And 3, you got commercial. If you're a commercial miner, you're not watching this content. You have no idea who any of these people are. You're on a yacht in Dubai somewhere with like 400 Instagram models. Yeah, we get it. You made it. Commercial miners are the people who have tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of equipment, massive infrastructure. They're greasing the palms of the local municipality to get favorable power rates, or they're going to some derelict former Soviet satellite state that has like a dam outside of town that hasn't been used, and they're giving a sack of money to some general to allow them to use the dam, and like they just kind of open up their mind and do these dark things. They don't like someone, they have them killed. Like, this is like big, super ultra money. Intermediate, maybe you've got a mine worth a few $1 million down to, I would say, maybe $500,000. These are people who can run it as a business. They can afford the overheads, they can afford payroll, they can afford to pay their power cost every single month. They don't have to float the power cost ongoing. It's not a wing and a prayer, it's an actual business model. Furthermore to that, people that mine and do something else, like say media or consulting or fixing ASICs or setting up farms for other people, these I would classify in the intermediate zone. Then everybody else is in the hobbyist area. So maybe your farm pays for itself month to month, maybe you got to float the power here and there, maybe you got your speculative mining coins. This is all in the hobbyist realm. And when I got out of mining the first time, I said that, like, you know, mining is kind of becoming just a hobbyist sort of thing. You know, you kind of mine and it's kind of fun. This is what I think a lot of outsiders don't get when they come in and see us talking about, oh, this is making $5 a day. And they're like, well, it costs this much. Why would you even do that? Because it's a hobby. So I don't go and shit on other people's hobbies on how much they're spending on their hobbies. Some people like to go fishing. Well, how much revenue is that fishing generating? I like cars. How much money is your car hobby generating? No one ever looks at it through that lens. And so if you're looking at mining through the hobbyist lens, sometimes you have hobbies that generate a little bit of money and are interesting to you and you're getting satisfaction out of it. So if you look at it through that lens, maybe the amount of money that you're generating is not as important, but the overarching theme here is that we do want to generate some money. And so that leads back to my point. If it's a hobby, you're not as concerned about it making so much money, But most people come into it with some expectation of that. So if you're trying to get into mining and aspiring mining, smaller miner, things like that, and you're trying to look at it on a budget, I think if you get into it with the expectation that it is a hobby, you're probably not going to make a whole lot, then you'll probably be absolutely fine. If you're like a lot of people, myself included, when I got into it, it was all about money, 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 and it's still kind of about money. I mean, what the hell am I doing here? So my expectation is that I'm going to mine some coins, be able to have to float power here and there, kind of float some costs, but with other things combined in this whole experiment, be able to at least cover my costs and generate something down the road. Now I understand and I have that expectation that it's not going to be a month-to-month thing and I'm not going to see the P&L go up. So again, leading back to my point, if you're just now getting into mining and you're like, well, I'm going to do this on a budget, I'm going to scale it up, I'm going to pick a moonshot coin and I'm going to be a billionaire from this mining rig that only cost me $500. I'm going to be a billionaire from this GPU rig that's using GPUs that are 6 years old and I've got 3 of them on a Veta frame or whatever it is. It's just not going to happen. So if you do have that expectation of where you want to make some money and like see some actual money coming in, I think you got to jump in a little bit more to the deep end. I think you got to go ASICs at this point. Keep GPUs and CPUs for diversification so you can do some speculative plays, because a lot of these speculative coins, yeah, sure, you mine them, hang on to them. They will go through the roof during the bull run, but I just don't think you should really bank on that if you're just getting into this and you have that expectation of actually making money. Technicals, what happened to you? You used to be like a GPU. Fuck GPUs, man. What they do for me? I'm loyal to one thing, and that's my damn wallet. And so wherever the money's going, that's where I'm going to follow. Obviously, I'm going to do GPUs and CPUs because of those moonshot opportunities, because of the hobbyist aspect, because I want to stay diverse. But I'm just trying to communicate to that aspiring miner, that would-be guy out there, you got the bug, you got the disease, you like to build things, you like computers, and so you want to say like, oh, I want to build a computer that makes money. That's a very alluring sort of prospect to me, and I know other people out there have that as well. If you're still uncertain as to what category you might fall in, I put together this really clever analogy that I like to go back to when I'm thinking about my own mining operation and someone else's, so I can classify them, because we live in a society that demands that everyone be labeled and classified into certain groups so we know whether or not to hate them. Let's analogize this into panning for gold. If you're a hobbyist miner, that's like you going out to the creek behind your house with a plate and a small shovel and digging up some rocks and panning for gold. And maybe you find a few flakes, and there's that slim, super, ultra rare chance that you do find a nugget of gold or a big vein of gold somewhere out there, and you strike it rich. It costs you basically nothing, but you make basically nothing, and you're having fun while doing it. It's the hobby. Intermediate, maybe you have a small piece of equipment, maybe an excavator, maybe you have a sluice, some pumps to run water, and so you go down to that creek, or maybe some land that you leased or bought, and you start sort of looking for gold on the regular. And you're gonna find gold on the regular because you did your research, you know where the gold is, you have your operating costs sort of factored into everything, and you operate this machinery and generate a steady amount of gold sufficient to cover your costs and pay yourself. And if you're a commercial miner, you are a Liebherr HS 8300 dragline moving 800 billion cubic feet of earth at any given second and feeding it into this massive factory of 60,000 employees that generate 4 billion tons of gold every single day, and you use that to control the gold markets on earth. And then suddenly the Sultan of Brunei is inviting you over to his house, and he's got the Instagram models now, and then that's like, it sounds fucking cool. That's my riff on mining on a budget, and why I think maybe if you're looking at videos like that, you kind of think about it a little bit before you get into it and say, well, if I'm gonna get into mining, maybe don't spend $800,000 on a CPU rig. Maybe do I really want to get into this and actually make some money and spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a really high-end ASIC that is going to virtually guarantee you money coming in, so you can then finance other things, and you know that that's your bread and butter, that's your milk and honey ongoing while you look into other speculative plays. I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I know there's some people out there that had the hard knock story. They started at the bottom with one i3 and mined their way up to that S21, and now they sit on a yacht in Dubai with Instagram models. I know that you guys are out there, but I mean, not everyone has the time or the patience to stick their nose in shit coins 24/7 for the last decade. So, you know, I'd love to know about your story in the comments below, and if you've got a spot on that yacht in Dubai for me. Because if that's the case, I'll stop making fun of you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you like videos like this where I talk to a camera for approximately 8 to 12 minutes, Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video. And for more content like this, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.